let's get right into this review for The Order. Alright, so The Order is directed by Justin Kurzel, and the genre of this film is a drama fused with thriller and crime elements. To start off, I don't think I've seen any trailers or advertisements for this film anywhere leading up to the release. I just so happened to scroll upon this film when browsing the movie screenings at my theaters for this week. Then I was a bit intrigued when I saw the title of this film and proceeded to watch the trailer, in which from that point forward, I was sold. Something about the cinematography and acting that I was able to get a glimpse of in that trailer was instinctually enough to tell me this has potential to be a really amazing film. And I'm happy to report that this was indeed a cinematic experience that I'm glad I didn't glance over. These types of original films are the reason why I love going to the theaters in the first place. Anyways, I digress. So this film has a stacked cast here who provide great performances all around in each of their roles. And some of the best highlights were from the performances provided by Jude Law, Nicholas Hoult, and Ty Sheridan. There are plenty of moments for them to showcase their incredible acting chops in many sequences throughout this gripping story here. So as to the next question, how was the story? I honestly thought it was perfect. The pacing, the dialogues, the actions, the cinematography that beautifully encapsulated every moment, almost every element here works in favor of telling this story. There's also some S-tier dialogues between the characters which definitely put a smile on my face in certain moments during my screening. And honestly, the true beauty to this film is that there isn't anything crazy going on here or cheap tricks to heighten this narrative experience. It's a story that's both cemented in realism and in a tidied up chronological fashion without any twists and turns to jog your narrative experience or challenge what you just witnessed. It's a deliberately paced 2-hour film that provides answers to your questions and fills in the narrative quite seamlessly when the story needs to. And that just shows how good the story here was, since it never needed plot twists or cheap tactics to keep the audience intrigued. Absolutely nothing boring about this simple premise here. If anything, the only downside to this narrative package was that there are some aspects to a character's life or some side characters in general that did come off vague or bare bones, but this never really took away from the core experience of what the narrative is trying to tackle here. If anything, I'd say having these bare bone aspects were the right choices to keep the runtime on check and the pacing right on track. And that's really all I have to say. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this cinematic experience. If anything, I recommend going into this film without really digging too deep beforehand so you can witness this hidden gem for all it's worth. I think the majority of curious moviegoers who made it this far into my review will also find this to be one of the better, if not the best film that came out this year. My final score for The Order is 9.5 out of 10. This is a movie experience I definitely revisit in the future. Director Justin Kurzel has outdone himself with this project. I think the only other film I watched from Justin was Assassin's Creed a while back. I wasn't the biggest fan of that film, but yeah, The Order is just way above and beyond that previous work of his. Anyways, thanks for checking this review out. This was the biggest surprise film for me this year. I honestly believe this deserves a spot on my top 5 cinematic experiences this year. There are still plenty of movies to come out this month, so I hope to see you again for my future uploads. Until then, peace.